The fun and the frequency of travelling abroad can be a most important experience for us as HSPs, an area that I am rather experienced in, and something important here to share around why we need to get out of our own country sometimes. Let's dive in. Inluminance specializes in developing sensory processing sensitivity, a natural high sensory intelligence present in 30% of the population, co-creating with the power of humanity to consciously evolve towards balance. Hello, a very warm welcome to yet another episode in the Inluminance podcast with me, your host, Willow McIntosh, the founder of Inluminance and the creator of the High Sensory Method. Now, before we dive in, as ever, I would just like to reassure you that if you would like to speak to me, I absolutely love to meet new HSPs. It is my purpose. It's my sole contract, as it was pointed out to me the other day, to be able to hold a space for you to get an insight into your truth, into your purpose, into the work that you're here to do, help you to understand what meaningful work really means. This is my area of expertise. You don't have to have anything profound to say. You can literally just turn up on Zoom and we can have a short conversation where you can introduce yourself to me and we can talk a little bit about what truly matters to you. One of the most important conversations that we can have as an HSP. To do that, all you need to do is click the link below, book a time on the calendar. I invite you to be committed to wanting to make a change in terms of your work and your purpose. Perhaps if you're looking to start a business, especially if you're looking to become a specialist in your area of expertise as a facilitator, a coach, a consultant, that is where I can really help you. So that is my request, that you are serious about making a shift into a new area in terms of your work. That's when I can really help you. So feel free to check out the calendar. Let me know if you can't find a suitable time and we can work one out together. But what's most important to me is that you don't stay stuck at home trying to figure all this out for yourself. It's just not possible to do that. We have to be able to have a conversation with somebody who understands what truth of self really means. And my goodness me, have I been on a journey that has allowed me to truly understand what that really means. And I have a gift where I'm able to read truth of self in others, something that has been developed through me and something that naturally occurs in me. And I would love to share that with you. It's why I'm here. So don't be shy. You don't have to have anything prepared. You just need to turn up with a commitment to want to be the best version of yourself that you can be in terms of your work, your purpose, your career, and your business. All right. So let us dive into the topic today. The area of travel is most intriguing. We have a really interesting experience, I find, HSPs, when we travel. I know that there is a lot that goes along with it. Obviously, we have to book things and get things organized and arranged, and there's things that can go wrong, and there's lots of ins and outs, and obviously there's the additional stress of us, taking ourselves abroad and managing our needs when we're abroad. But to let any of that put you off is a big mistake. It is a great gift for us to put ourselves into a new environment and to be in the adventure and exploration of travel. This frequency that emerges when we're abroad is really quite fascinating. It's all about getting ourselves out of our usual surroundings. Much of our conditioning and our belief systems are all set in the origin of obviously where we were grown. I'm not saying that if you go to Thailand, then all your problems are going to go away. Your problems are going to come with you. However, there is a shift in frequency when we're abroad that allows us to see things in a new way. We actually start to meet a freedom within that enhances our experience of understanding ourselves and feeling ourselves. And this is what I would like to dive in today to talk about this, because the frequency of excitement and freedom is very much close to the truth of ourselves in terms of our spirit, in terms of our soul, when we are allowing ourselves to find that joy of being in a new environment and being in a new culture and being in that adventure of self, then it gives us the opportunity to meet that part of ourselves that is really unattached from the origins of our story and our narrative. It allows us to step into a clearer experience of ourselves that then begins to open and witness itself within the culture of a new place. So, for example, when I'm walking around the area that I'm currently staying in at the moment, there is such fascination in me about how this little village that I'm in currently came about. It's actually very old where I am now. Very interestingly, it was built because in the lower parts of the island, they had a lot of problems with pirates many, many years ago, we're talking in the 16th century. And so the population of the island came up onto the higher part and built this beautiful stone village that allowed them the view of being able to see oncoming pirates. And obviously it was harder for the pirates to get access to the inhabitants and their possessions in this village. The village is super old, and it's amazing to see how it was all put together. And so walking around the streets, there's no real plan to it. It's all super organic in its creation, and you never know quite where you're going to end up, and where you're going to, what you're going to experience and see in walking around this village, which is a mix of beautiful little shops and artistic shops and places that sells, all the wonderful local produce and artisan products of the area, mixed with these cute little houses that are all connected together with this wonderful, very old stone buildings with churches hidden here and there, and little taverns and restaurants that overlook the stunning view that looks out to the rest of the island. And walking around in this experience, it really is quite magical. There is the experience of being in the energy of the place itself, the history of it, and the culture of the history. But there is also this magical energy that comes from a place of this age. And of course we can find these types of places in our own country, of course. But there's something very interesting, I believe, that happens when we are in a foreign country and we're immersing ourselves in a different culture, and we are learning about that culture, and we're experiencing the way in which another place has formed in its history, and how that's steeped in the way in which the people of this land have lived for hundreds and hundreds of years, and how they've kept the traditions that they have, and how that all is connected with the identity of the people that are here, and how that formulates this cultural experience of the nature of a place and how people are a part of that and how the place is a part of the people, and the way in which the land really brings through a vibration of itself through the areas that we are able to visit. And there's something about this that I feel is very important for us to experience. And it is about getting away from our common and usual background, as I say, but it's also about this frequency that happens. This connection of us being in that new experience, it allows us to really engage with the higher nature of ourselves by allowing ourselves to be immersed and absorbed into the natural flow and the natural frequency of the area that we're in. And in doing that, it is about experiencing the freedom of ourselves and the truth of ourselves. But it's also really about meeting the part of our own identity that is linked with what freedom really means to us and what fun really means, and how we can begin to find that kind of untethered part of ourselves that just wants to be free and just wants to dive into the immersive experience of a new place, and to allow that joyful, adventurous part of ourselves to come through. So we are really we're really allowing an expansion of ourselves energetically that then really unleashes our creativity, and it really allows us to dive into this expression of ourselves that wants to be untethered, and it wants to have that freedom of being in a playground that really allows us to find that freedom of expression. And in doing that, by being in the freedom of our creativity in that way, we open up a new space within our hearts and minds that allows true inspiration to come through. It's when we really start to meet that creative part of ourselves that wants to bring something forward into the world. It's where we really meet that part of our soul that wants to do something beautiful and joyous with the life that we have, and through the person that we are, and how that natural expression has its own colors, and it has its own style, and it has its unique personality and character, and the things that really wants to get up to, and how it wants to be in this magical experience of being a soul with a body, and how we can really interact with the world around us, and the natural world around us, and how this difference in culture and how this difference in history really combines to form this magical, alchemical combination of experience that opens up this channel of creativity and opens up this channel into the truth of who we are. And how this really allows us to begin a journey of true self-expression, and to remember that ultimately, the more that we can really be in our joy and in our flow and in our freedom, that really is the greatest gift that we can share. And for ourselves as much as it is for others, in that we really allow this beauty of ourselves to come through, and to remember that the ego that we're so often taught in the spiritual circles, that we're supposed to get rid of our ego in order to win the game of spirituality. Well, the truth of that is all the time you've got a body, you've got an ego. It's not possible to put our ego down somewhere, or to somehow eradicate our ego whilst we're in this physical realm and we have a physical body. The two are needed. The two are needed to work in harmony in order for us to be here, in order for us to manifest down here. And that allows us to work together with the phenomenon of what the ego really is, and just how beautiful the uniqueness of our character and personality and ego really is. It's a real work of art. I know that it causes a lot of problems, and I know that the common thread in the spiritual circles is that we have to transcend the ego in order to be successful, in order to be truly happy. It's actually about integrating the ego. And the more work that we do around that, the more whole we become, the more self-love truly becomes possible, and the less the ego has control over us, where we are in shadow and limiting and inhibiting the true expression of our soul. When we are in that partnership, if you like, with our ego, where we understand that actually we have a very frightened self within us that is terrified of dying and terrified of being unsafe, and really the job of integrating our ego is to absorb it into love and into higher frequency, and to be able to reassure it, and to be able to have conversations with it to alleviate its fears, which actually stops those fears having control over our own destiny. And it's being in this higher frequency of self-expression where we truly do give ourselves the opportunity to be able to be in that place of self-transcendence within the integration of the wholeness of who we really are, that then starts to bring through this really magical self-expression that it's colored by all that we are. It's colored by our journey. It's colored by all of our lifetimes. It's colored by the drive in our hearts to really want to be that unique expression of source. Well, the reality that we are all that unique expression of source, and to allow that light within us to shine through the prism of the truth of who we are, with all of our fears and all of our weaknesses and all of our struggles, and how we can really transmute that into a beautiful expression of who we are, through all the facets of who we really are. And it's rare that we really get to do all of that, right? I mean, it's rare that we come on holiday and sort of immerse ourselves into this transcendent, transformative, colored expression of the truth of self. But we should be. And I'm a firm believer of that. And I go out of my way to give myself those types of experiences. When I'm exploring a new coastal path and the sun is shining and there's butterflies around and there's the smells of the herbs and the flowers and there's the breeze from the sea, and and there's just that magical immersion with creation itself, and how that part of ourselves just dances in that amazing phenomena and allows us to really meet that beautiful, giggling, high frequency of love that is truly at the core of all of us, of who we really are. And, riding that is just such a phenomenal gift that we're able to do that as human beings, that we are in these bodies, and yet how our reality kind of glitches in that way, where we do get that flash of the color, the colors of flow and the colors of source, the colors of love that are at the core of everything, and how sometimes our perception as HSPs allows us to see that energy, and we get this full immersion into the experience of love and the depth of reality that we are able to experience, which is what makes us so important, because we can see through to the fundamental nature of reality and we can experience that. And that is really when we do raise our frequency. That is when we really do allow ourselves to transcend and to expand our awareness, to allow ourselves to evolve at the soul level. That's what we are really here to do. That's the contract that we have with our soul, is that there's something that it really wants to do through us. But ultimately, it is all about love. And when we bring ourselves to a new culture and to a new experience, and if we're in the right kind of place, then it allows us to meet with the frequency of love that's within us, that we see reflected externally when we are in beautiful places, and how we can really open to that experience and allow our hearts to be in that place of freedom. And that comes through the experience of travel. It allows our hearts to be free from the day-to-day grind that we're used to. And as I say, our conditioning and our development, it allows us to find that natural, true expression, because we are in a place of freedom in terms of it being different and the fact that it is new, and how that allows us to activate this natural creativity within us and truly allows us to experience the magic of who we are, and just how important our relationship with love is, and how it can actually guide us to begin a deeper relationship with love, and how it can actually address one of the greatest problems that we have as HSPs, where we do get stuck in a false identity that is in our heads, and how that place becomes a very unstable, fearful, depowered experience, versus when we do engage and we do allow our awareness to come into our bodies and to experience the love that we are within ourselves at our core, to engage with our energetic body that allows us to find that frequency of love within us, that allows us to empower. It allows us to find our truth. It allows us to understand our purpose. It allows us to recognize that we were never disconnected, that we are always one with the greater context of love, and how we can be an example of that as HSPs, how we can present what love truly means and the empowerment that comes through the engagement with love at the deepest level within us, and how we can let go of the fear and the false identity that causes such chaos in the world, where we are disconnected from that true natural frequency that is the basis to all things. So there we are. Time to jump on a plane. Time to choose somewhere beautiful. Time to go and be free. Time to express yourself. Time to jump in blue crystalline water. Time to get a canvas in front of you. Time to dance. Time to sing. Time to get underwater and allow yourself to find this natural source of love within. Thank you for watching, or thank you for listening, depending on where you are downloading this episode from. Thank you again for all of your support. If these episodes are useful for you, it makes a huge difference to our ability to create more of these episodes for you. If you are feeling perhaps to leave a review, if you're listening wherever you're listening to the podcast, it helps a lot for the algorithm to get the to get the episodes out to other HSPs. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, then please do leave a comment, share some of your experiences, tell me how you find access to that true self-expression of love and the colors and the magic of all of that. So we can really start to raise frequency globally. This is what we are here to do as HSPs. We're not supposed to be stuck in our heads in a fearful state of self-rejection. The opposite is true. And please remember that we are challenged in the opposite of our truth as human beings. So just in the yin-yang, if you go far enough into the dark, you will find the light. And in that darkness of self-rejection, the truth of who we really are resides. And it doesn't mean to say that we're supposed to be wallowing and immersing in the darkness of self-rejection. There is no end to that hole. However, please know that there has been no wasted time in all of your experiences so far, and in all of the challenges that you've experienced. It's only strengthening you. It's only developing your soul. And now is an opportunity to know that you have been in the darkness long enough. And it's time now to immerse yourself in the magical truth of your self-expression and to be the wonderful gift that you are here to be in the world. And the more of us that can set an example of that, the more of us that can illustrate what the truth of nature really is, the truth of reality, how everything is based in love, and how love really can guide us into creating the world that we know is possible. I look forward to seeing you next time. Don't forget to check out the links below. If you'd like to speak to me, it would be my pleasure to have a conversation with you. If you are interested in training to become a specialist in your field of expertise, please do check out the Inluminance website or go to highsensoryintelligence.com. You will also find a course there that helps to transition you from the full self-identity into an experience of the truth of your natural identity and how that will reveal your purpose. That's called the High Sensory Method course that you can find there on the Inluminance website. So there we are. I look forward to seeing you next time. Be safe. Remember how important you are, and remember that there is a part of you that is beautiful and powerful, and it's just waiting to be revealed and expressed through you. See you next time. Take lots of care. Bye for now.